In this video, we're going to go over how to create a new Mint account on Solana. This effectively creates a new token on the network. If we were to run this example, we'd get a link to Solana Explorer, where we can view the transaction details. Scrolling down, we can see that our transaction included two instructions. One, where we invoke the system program to create a new account that transferred ownership to the token program, and then an instruction to invoke the token program to initialize the data on the account we just created. We can view the Mint account on-chain to see that we've created a new token on the network at this address here. Next, let's walk through how this example works. We're using the following Solana dependencies and a few helper functions in our lib.rs file. So here in our main function, the first thing we're going to do is create a connection to a cluster. In this case, we're going to be using the local test validator. Then we're going to create two key pairs, one called pair and one called mint. For the pair, we're also going to request an airdrop to it using this helper function. And for the mint, we're simply creating a key pair. Now, these key pairs will be saved to the .env file here using some helper functions in our lib.rs file. So once we have our mint key pair generated, we're going to calculate the space required for a mint account specifically. So this is the number of bytes that a base mint account requires. Then we're going to take that space, pass it into the get minimum balance for rent exemption function to calculate the number of LAN ports required for a mint account. Next, we're going to create an instruction that invokes the system program using this create account helper function. So here, the from public key is the address paying for the creation of the account. The to public key is the address of the account being created. LAN ports is the amount of LAN ports we're allocating to the account for the amount of space we're allocating to the account. And then owner here is specifying once the system program creates the account, which program is going to be the new owner of the account that was just created. In this case, it's going to be the token program, specifically the token 2022 program. Next, we're going to create the initialize mint instruction using this initialize mint helper function. So as the owner of the new account, the token program is now allowed to modify the data on that account. So we're going to invoke the token program to initialize that data as a mint account type. So here, we're specifying the token program is the token 2022 program. This is the address of the mint we want to initialize. We're specifying the mint authority, so who's allowed to create new units of this mint, and who's the freeze authority, and then setting the decimal precision of the account. Once we have our two instructions, we're going to go ahead and create a new transaction, add those instructions to the transaction, specifying the fee payer for the transaction, and passing in the key pairs that must sign the transaction. Here, we're passing in the payer key pair because they have to pay the transaction fee and for the creation of the account. We're passing in the mint key pair as a signer on the transaction because we're going to be using its address as the address of the account we're about to create. So the mint key pair has to sign the transaction to prove that we control the public keys associated with this address so that we are allowed to use it as the address of a new account. And then we include a recent block hash to timestamp the transaction. Once we've created our transaction, we can go ahead and send that transaction, get back a transaction signature, and print out the link to Solana Explorer. And that's how you create a new token on the Solana network. You have to build a transaction with two instructions. One, invoking the system program to create the account, setting the token program as the owner, and then two, to invoke the token program to initialize the data on this new account as a mint.